Okay, chapter 3. So chapter 3 is Introduction to Engineering Design. Sabi niya dito, engineers are problem solvers. Okay, in this chapter, we'll introduce to engineering design process, blah, 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 blah. Talk about the engineering design process as has been described here. They have what? I think they have 7 or 8. Ayun na. Sorry. The steps include the following. Okay, so let's just focus here. Hindi ko na muna siya i-discuss na I'll just give you a one holistic point of perspective. Ito yung increase. 100, 175. Much. Go with the 150. Lang natin. Para okay. So number 1, let's now look more closely with what constitutes the design process. Okay. What is design process? Ano ba yung dinedesign mo? Okay, you have one problem, you have one case scenario, or you have one project. Okay. Now, let's say for example, gagawa ka ng isang prototype that could answer a specific problem na nakita mo. Halimbawa, let's take for example yung ginagawa ng SNA3 natin ngayon na facial recognition system as something like they're going to create an alarm that would say na for social distancing, something like that, the facial recognition or I don't know, something. Okay, so the problem is that magkakadikit yung tao. So through the aid of camera, madedetermine niya kung they are close enough, less than 1 meter, something like that. Then magkakaroon ng parang alarm or sabihin niya na, oy, mag-distance kayo, something like that. Or it will alert a certain another entity. Okay? So let's look into that. So paano ba nagkakaroon ng design process into that? So one is, first step or stage is recognize the need for a product or service. So you have a problem. So, kailangan pala natin ng ganito. This is step 1. So ito yung usual na ginagawa natin pagdating sa may CPE practice and design. So they tend to look for problems or something that they could answer in terms of product or a service. Okay, so ganun yun. I do remember yung isang parang parable or isang kwento. May dalawang parang ahente ka muna or parang employee. Yung boss, yung may-ari ng factory ng shoes ka muna. Sabi niya dun sa may employee, employee number 1, sabi niya, pumunta ka nga dito sa lugar na ito. Sa baryo Makayo-Kayo. O kaya the country of Makayo-Kayo. Tignan mo kung feasible ba na magtayo tayo doon ng factory ng sapatos. Tapos sabi niya, pumunta siya doon, yung employee. Tapos sabi niya, sir, balik niya. Hindi tayo pwede magtayo doon ng factory ng sapatos. Lahat ng mga tao doon nakapaa. Hindi nila alam magsapatos. Lugi tayo doon. And then, ito naman si hindi na kontento si boss, si owner ng factory. Pinapunta niya ngayon doon yung isa pa, yung employee number 2. Pumunta ka nga doon sa pinuntahan ni Procopio at tignan mo kung ano yung magiging opinion mo doon. Pagbalik niya, tuwang-tuwa. Employee number 2, sabi niya, sir, jackpot tayo. Bakit? Kasi lahat sila nakapaa. Magpapatayo tayo doon ng factory. Tayo pa lang ang pinakauna doon. At tuturuan natin sila. Kikita tayo. So, anong moral lesson doon? It's not about the opportunity. It's about having a different point of perspective sa isang issue tinitignan ninyo. Okay? So, recognizing the need is very important for you, for your ability na meron kayong ganun. Nang sa ganun, um, well, yeah, to address a certain problem, di ba? Or to give solution. So that is brief description of number one. Number two, defining and understanding the problem, the need completely. O, gaya natin doon sa may example natin kanina. Hindi masyadong na-define yung, hindi rin masyadong na-understand nung first employee kung ano yung need. Ang nakita lang niya, parang tip of the iceberg. Hindi niya nakita yung complete need or necessity nung factory doon. Nung ipapatay yung factory ng sapatos. Okay? Kasi baka mamaya, may nakita kang problema, pero hindi naman pala ganun yung need niya. Okay? Let's say for example, nakita mo madilim. Pag gabi madilim, so kailangan natin ng ilaw, something like that. Okay, tapos gumawa ka ng design mo or ng solution mo, and then your solution is a solar-powered flashlight. Diba? Gagana lang siya kapag umaga, iilaw lang kapag umaga, kapag merong sikat ng araw. So, anong kwenta nun? Tapos, nag-i-invent ka ng solar-powered flashlight, meron naman nang na-invent mga ibang technology na that could answer that problem already. So, the need or you're not actually understanding the complete essence of the problem. Okay? Now, let's go with number 3. Doing preliminary research and preparation. So, katulad halimbawa dun sa example natin dun sa factory ng sapatos, yung pag-send niya ng mga tao, that is part of his preliminary research and preparation. Okay? Other than that, yung example naman natin sa solar-powered flashlight, if you're not really adept on research, you're proposing a solution na meron na palang existing na mga technology which already better than your proposed solution. So, anong kwenta nun? Sayang. Diba? So, kailangan malalim yung mo. Malalim at malawak yung kaalaman mo in terms of your preparation. So, hindi lang to basta parang may alam ka sa software or pagde-design, may AutoCAD ka na skill, okay na. Hindi ganun. Those are just mere tools. Okay? Number 4, conceptualizing ideas for possible solutions. Okay. Dito na papasok yung mga different softwares, different na mga tools na pwede mong gamitin so that you could conceptualize properly. Hindi ka naman pwedeng sabihin mo na, okay, gagawa tayo ng bahay, magde-design tayo ng bahay, ganito ang gusto natin mangyari. Hindi naman pwedeng puro salita lang yun. Kailangan mo ding drawing. Kailangan mo ng tools para ma-conceptualize mo. During 20 years ago, in order to do that, kailangan mo ng engineer, kailangan mong gumuhit, 2D, tapos napakahirap gumawa pa ng perspective nun, pati elevation niya, o kailangan pa talagang architect ang gagawa. Pero ngayon hindi na eh. Diba? May mga softwares na tayo. So, the more softwares that you know that could help you on conceptualizing these ideas, the better yung magiging output mo. Hindi yung puro imagination lang ang gagamitin mo. At marami yun. So, kung ang project mo is about mechanical, gumamit ka ng mga simulation tools na pang mechanical. Kung robotics naman, gumamit ka ng simulation tools na ganito. So, doon kayo magkakatalo mamaya. Paramihan niya ng alam kung sino yung may magandang pagkaka-conceptualize. Okay? Number 5, synthesizing the findings. Okay. For example, there's a certain problem tapos binigay mo sa mga tauhan mo, something like that. Okay, we have several researchers here, o researcher 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, o scientist 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Meron tayong problema dito. Problema natin, madilim kapag gabi. Anong solution ninyo? Ito si scientist 1, present niya yung solution niya, solar-powered flashlight. Scientist 2 naman, ang pinakita niya is, let's say, clean energy using yung windmill, parang ganun. Yung isa naman geothermal, yung isa ganito. So you try to synthesize these findings and these solutions, even other facts na nakikita ninyo, in order for you to come up with a good design. Kasi mamaya, hindi mo siya masyadong synthesize yung problem itself. Tapos, nag-present ka ng geothermal, tapos dahil magandang pakinggan, tapos clean energy, eh ang paglalagyan pala ng ilaw na yun, eh sa dagat, wala kang geothermal doon. So anong pinaka-feasible doon? Eh, yung windmill, o kaya yung wave, pwede mong gamitin yun. So something like that. Okay? Evaluating good ideas in more detail. Okay, so you have a good solution, you have a good design, you feel na okay na to, ito na yung pinakamaganda natin na i-implement. But before you do that, you may want to think the second time around to evaluate it before you go to it. Yung problema natin dito, pag halimbawa, we're talking about resources dito eh. Prototyping from the design process itself consumes already so much resources. Number one is your time. Number two, your money. Number three, people. Okay? Ang pinakamahirap na part dito, you've all exerted this kind of logistics, you even exhausted, okay, your resources only to find out pagdating sa dulo, eh, hindi naman pala siya yung best. Nagmadali ka. Okay? So, you have to evaluate even two or three times before you try to implement. Okay? Number 7, optimizing solutions to arrive at the best possible solution. So what's the difference between optimizing and maximizing? When you say optimize, you get the maximum output using the least or minimum input. Okay? Yun yung optimizing. That's my point of perspective. Please don't quote me on that with Google or whatsoever. We're talking about logistics here. So what you're trying to do is get the maximum possible amount of benefit by putting the smallest possible input that you could give. For example, kung pwede ka namang tumubo ng 10 piso, halimbawa ang puhunan mo 10 piso, kung pwede ka namang tumubo ng 10 piso ulit, sa 5 piso lang na puhunan, mas okay yun. Kesa naman sa tumubo ka din ng 10 piso, 10 piso ang puhunan mo. Yung the latter, that is maximizing. The other one is optimizing. This is for me. Okay? And last not but the least is presenting the final solution. So, nakita mo ang pros and cons natin dito. Pinag-aralan mo muna mabuti mula sa design 1, mula dito sa stage 1, recognizing the need. Nakakal mo na hanggang dito sa number 7. Okay? And the last part would be present the final solution. So when it comes to presenting the final solution, then you could have here your skills now, in your communication skills, your PowerPoint presentation, how you present it, okay, to get that pitch. Kasi minsan yung pinakamagandang solution dahil hindi magandang pagkaka-present, minsan hindi nakukuha yun eh. Hindi yun ang ini-entertain. So, presentation, meron din talagang factor yun. Kasi, minsan naman minsan halos kadalasan sa mga case scenarios, yung tao na nagde-decide if we're going to go with that or not, eh walang actual knowledge doon sa mismong issue of concern. So, magdedepende na lang siya doon sa may presentation mamaya. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng managers o kaya ng boss is technically equipped or meron siyang technical know-how dun sa may issue o kaya dun sa may problem eh. Let's take for example the president of the Philippines or a president of a certain country. Di ba? Bakit yung bang naupo doon na presidente ng isang bansa? Magaling ba siya pagdating sa health? Magaling ba siya pagdating sa law? Magaling ba siya pagdating sa policies? Magaling ba siya pagdating sa economics? Siya ba yung pinakamagaling sa lahat? Hindi ganun eh. Okay? Meron at meron siyang magiging advisor, and meron ding magpe-present ng solution sa kanya pertaining to dun sa mga problems na na-encounter. sa bansa niya. Ngayon, kung halimbawa hindi magandang pagkaka-present, anong alam ng pinagpe-presentan mo kung pangit yung presentation mo, eh, hindi na siya magbibigay ng pansin doon. Titignan niya na lang yung mas naiintindihan niya. So that's the importance of the present, the one of the dynamics in presenting the final solution. Now, those are my interpretations and opinions pertaining to this section. Now, just cross-reference those dito sa mga nabasa ninyo. Okay? Kung ano yung sinasabi niya. Kung halimbawa may konting complication, please let me know kung medyo may nalalabuan kayo. I think halos ko naman eh. Halos parehas din naman. Hindi ko nababasahin itong mga to para sa inyo. You have your book and I already read din naman. So that is for your design process. Presentation, we have it here. We have some examples here, pero mathematical itong mga to eh. Civil engineering design process. Meron sila dito. Recognize the need of the building, define the usage of the building, project planning, schematic design phase. Kino-correlate nila itong mga steps na to doon sa kanila for the civil engineering. For the computer engineering, meron din. Okay. This one is in a subjective manner in a way that you could adjust kung ano yung it may possibly work into your program. Schematic design. Sa atin yung schematic design, we call that yung sa may circuits and electronics. Mamaya i-discuss ko yun sa inyo. Construction administration phase. O ito yung pag magde-design na sila, pwede mong gawin ito sa may AutoCAD before the project implementation itself. Sustainability. Ito tayo. Page na ba to? This is page 5. Engineering economics, material selection. Oh, we're talking about price na dito eh. Pag economics na. See, you have here the keyword profitable to your company. Number that can afford. Okay, consumers that can afford. Material selection. Oh, this is very important. Okay. Whenever you do a certain prototype or project, the material selection is really one of the core factor that you could consider. Halimbawa, yung mga ginagawa nila dito for prototyping, gumagamit sila ng wood dahil yun yung pinaka least expensive at saka madaling i-mold. Pero when it comes to durability, I won't recommend the wood, particularly with your electronic components. It's because the problem there, since it's in the prototype phase, we cannot neglect the avenue or instance na magkaroon ka ng short or merong heating element dito na involved. And you know what happens with heat and wood? They don't work well with each other. Okay? So, pwede kayong masunugan. Okay, see? You have here electrical resistivity, the density, modulus electricity, Young's modulus. This is for the strength of materials na ito eh. Pag-aaralan ninyo yan mamaya. One good example again with the wood, kung prototyping tayo, for example, electronic components. May nakita ka na bang electronic device na wood ang gamit niya as housing? Diba? So, tignan mo mabuti yung mga yun. Modulus, rigidity, tensile strength. This is puro civil ito eh. Thermal expansion, physics, dynamics, thermal conductivity. No. One good example of thermal conductivity would be someday put it into a prospect na overheating, something like that. So kung halimbawa ang issue ng material mo is mataas ang conductivity ng heat niya, na-absorb niya mabuting heat, kung para sa casing siya, chances are yung casing ang merong physical connection or contact dun sa may user. Pag hinawakan niya yung casing, mainit, mabilis uminit yung material mo dahil na-absorb niya through thermal conductivity. Okay? Chances are, mapapaso yung merong hawak. Would you like that? the material of your product later on. Abay, para kang nagbenta ng plancha na yung hawakan ng umiinit. Baliktad. Pero on the other hand, the thermal conductivity is also good. Kung pinag-uusapan nating design dito would be heat sink. Okay? Your processor is really, really hot when it's working 100%. Okay? At its peak. So chances are you need to dissipate that heat coming from your equipment as much as possible and as fast as possible. So you need a material that conducts thermal conductivity which is really, really high coefficient so that hindi mag-overheat yung material mo. So, yung mga ganon. Viscosity is for fluid, I think. Tingnan dito. Oh, yeah. Value for viscosity of fluid. Vapor pressure, pang mga mechanical na rin yung iba dito. Okay, teamwork. What is the importance of teamwork in your design? Abay, napaka-importante niyan. Oh. Your team members should complement each other. Kung ano yung weakness ng isa, dapat yun ang strength ng kabila. Parang halimbawa sa basketball yan. Magwo-work ba yung team ng basketball members, ay team ng basketball, yung members ng mga basketball team mo, kung lahat sila guard, kung lahat sila point guard, wala kang shooting guard, wala kang tagalabas na pumupukol ng tres, something like that. Wala eh. No. Meron bang strength yung team mo kung lahat kayo 3-point shooter? Eh kung nag 1-to-1, man-to-man defense yung ginawa ng kabila, wala din. Malakas nga kayo sa opensa, mahina naman kayo sa depensa. Hindi naman lahat ng pagkakataon makakashoot kayo. Something like that. So ganun din sa may team mo. Kung halimbawa, lahat kayo magagaling sa AutoCAD, walang magaling ni isa sa inyo sa electronics, eh paano kayo makakabuo? So dapat nagko-complement to each other yan. Especially when you go with your CPE practice and design. Although minimal yung number of students doon, minsan may individual eh, minsan hanggang maximum ng 3, dapat piliin mong mabuti yung miyembro ng team mo at nang sa ganun, naku-complement ninyo yung isa't isa, yung pagkukulang ng isa't isa. Okay? Common traits of good teams, basahin nyo na yan. Organizer, creator. This is more on the management. Sayang wala na tayong engineering management ngayon eh. Okay. Conflict resolution. Sa mga team members nyo, hindi nyo may iwasang magkaroon ng conflicting of ideas. For example, yung halimbawa, yung isa, mas maganda ito. Yung isa, mas maganda yan. Problema yun, mag-aaway sila. Na-experience ko dito for how many times na yung mga ibang group members, okay, ng isang nagwawatak-watak sila. It's because of their conflicts. Hindi sila magkasundo. So I hope hindi mangyari yun sa inyo. Okay? Project scheduling and task chart. Usually this is a Gantt chart eh. So whenever you have a project, napaka-importante meron kang target date, starting date, ano yung mga activities in between that. Okay, ano yung trabaho ng bawat isa. Halimbawa, ikaw sa documentation, ikaw sa ganito, pagdating sa design ng electronics, yung isa naman pagdating sa may programming, something like that. Okay? Budget, ang hirap naman kung halimbawa, ikaw lang tagabigay ng budget. Yun ang I hope doon sa may part na yun, pantay-pantay kayo. Ang mahirap, yung isa lang ang tagagawa, yung isang tagabigay ng budget, yung isa tagaluto ng pansit canton. Diba? Pangit nun. Pero kung kaya nyo, gusto nyo gano'n, nasa sa inyo yun. Ito yung Gantt chart natin. Okay. Evaluating alternatives. Nagkakaroon tayo ng evaluation ng alternatives kung halimbawa you hit multiple options that could possibly answer a specific problem. So meron kang na-encounter na dead rock bottom. Okay? Problem. Hindi kayo makausad. So sabi ni member number 1, research yung member mo, group member mo isa, ganitong gamitin natin na solution dyan. Yung isa naman, hindi, meron akong solution, ito din. Yung isa naman, ito din. So kung meron kayong tatlong solution to answer that problem, you have to do some cost-benefit analysis. Tignan mo kung halimbawang, let's take for example, the costing. Okay? Kung lahat kayo may sensitivity issue pagdating sa presyo, okay, tignan nyo yung pinakamura na okay. Ang mahirap, kung tinignan nyo yung pinakamura, pangit ang quality. So magkakaroon kayo ng criteria of evaluation ng alternatives ninyo. Kung hindi naman issue ang pera, ang issue is quality, o di tanggalin nyo yung variable ng pera. Ito, pinakamaganda, pero ang price niya 1 million, okay lang yan kasi siya yung pinakamagandang solusyon. So, those are the samples of evaluating your alternatives. Ito, may pros and cons siya. Positive, pros and cons. We're going to list. Lahat ito, mga techniques ito sa engineering management. Design criterion. This one medyo meron siyang konting technical issues is because he's using this is RI, current times resistance, I think. This is the voltage. Hindi, importance. I. And then R is for rate. Okay. Kala ko current times resistance. Ngayon, yung importance niya, for example, napaka-importante sa inyo mas importante sa inyo yung cost kaysa dun sa may quality, mas mataas yung rating nung cost. Patent, trademark, and copyright. These are the legal issues concerning a certain product, okay? Baka mamaya kasi magkakaroon kayong infringement o kaya violation sa mga existing patent and trademark or copyrights. So, mag-iingat kayo doon mamaya dahil baka mademanda kayo lalo kung ipapublish ninyo yung work ninyo. Pero kung hindi nyo naman siya ipapublish, just for the sake of simple solution and so on and so forth, okay lang. But kung halimbawa katulad dito sa mga hardbounds natin, it's very important na you give credit to those people. Okay? Nang sa ganun, hindi kayo magkaroon ng issue. Kasi kapag clean mo na parang ikaw ang original nun, abay, mahirap yun. So yun ang magiging problema nyo mamaya. Pero tuturuan naman namin kayo mamaya pagdating dun sa may methods of research. Dinidiscuss ko to what are the laws pertaining to patent, trademark, and what are the things that is covered by the patent, trademark, and copyright. For the time being, you could deal with this one. Remember that for inventions, we have patent. For trademark, for example, yung McDonald's, registered trademarks yung mga yun. Okay, tapos yung trademark ni Jollibee, Starbucks, something like that. Yun, when you talk about copyright, ito yung mga libro, mga ganon, o kaya mga softwares. So, engineering standards and codes. What do you mean by this one? We're talking about the TIA 568, for example. Yeah. ISO na to International Standard Organization or International Organization for Standards. For example, dun sa it was ISO standard yun yung 7 application presentation session transport network and data link. Okay. Yun yung data link and physical. That is also a standard for the network. Mga standardization silang ginagawa. Even sa school natin, nagpapa-ISO din tayo May ISO tayo dito. So when it comes with sizes, okay, meron tayong standard na tinatawag na sizes. When it terms of let's say ethical hacking, sa part ng Systems and Network Administration, we have two operating systems na ginagamit natin madalas when it terms with penetration testing. One is the Parrot OS and one is the Kali Linux. Okay, or the Kali, ganun lang kasimple. One is Parrot, the other one is Kali. Okay, K.A.L.I. Yung isa Parrot as in P-A-R-R-O-T. Okay. Pero in between the two, ang parang industry standard per parse na nakasanayan na was the Kali. Okay. So, yun yung parang nila. Yan yung parang benchmark nila na software na ginagamit. We have the ISO standards. Okay, examples of standards and codes organization in the United States. We have ANSI, American National Standard Institute. Kasi, kaya yata din yung kwan eh. Yung, I don't know if they're the ASCII. American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Okay, the ASCII, the code. We also have the ASTM. Mga kwan National File Protection. This is under the US. Okay. ISO pa rin ito. Ang dami dito. Yan. Hawa kayo. Specific example standard codes. Okay. Meron din yung kwan eh, yung TIA for kwan Cat5 UTPs natin. Meron tayong standard for crimping, even yung pagkikrimp ng jack dun sa may RJ45 dun sa may kwan sa Cat5 UTP. We have TIA 568A and then we have also the TIA 568B. Okay? So may mga ganon. Electrical, we have IEEE if I'm not mistaken. IEEE, IEEE, something like that. Marami to. I don't need to you don't need to memorize this all. The mere essence is that the mere thing to remember is that alam mo na merong standard na ginagamit when you try to develop or create something. One good example sa electrical wiring natin, meron tayong standard pagdating for example sa maximum load. Alam na mga electrical yun. So may mga sinusundan tayo. So if we're running around 20 ampere, something like that, may mga standard kang sizes ng wire na gagamitin dapat doon, which is recommended. Not only in the sense na they recommend, but this is the standard. Pag gumamit ka ng below doon, gagana pa rin siya, pero hindi na siya standard. Sub-standard na ang tawag doon. And then these guys are the one identifying what is the standard. Okay? Just, you see here the ANCI, ASCII, ASTM, something like that. So for pipings, plumbings, drinking water standards, we have the IPA. Dito, parang call lang eh. I don't know for the standard for water. But so meron yung parang water purification. Pag magpapatayo ka ng water purifier, may kailangan pasok sa standard yung equipment na gagamitin mo. Meron ding branch ng government na nag-handle nun that gives you some permit to operate. I think meron pang kailangan mo pang kumuha ng sanitary permit, something like that. It's because of these standards. Outdoor air quality standards. For example, smoke emission. Pag kayo magpaparehistro ng motor o kaya magre-renew, meron tayong standard dun sa may emission testing machine ng ito lang yung dapat na kung ano man yung nilalabas ng usok niya. Kung halimbawa masyado ng mataas yung material or content nun, smoke belching na yung yung equipment mo or yung vehicle mo, hindi na siya papasa sa standard. It's because of the quality of the air that we are trying to control or maintain. Ba? Indoor, it's still on air. That's it. Methods to manage contaminants. It's still part of your environmental section. Okay. Gusto ko rin palang emphasize yung environmental impact. Kaya you try to avoid creating a design to a certain solution that produces another problem, a different problem. Na-solve mo nga yung problem number 1, pero nagbigay ka naman ng panibagong problem sa ibang entity. One good example. Ano bang may example natin dito? Problema sa basura, kamo na. Okay. Daming basura. Ano naging solusyon nila? Tatayo sila ng incinerator para maubos yung problema sa basura. Na-solve na yung problema sa basura. Ano nangyari? Nagkaroon naman na yung problema sa hangin. Because of these greenhouse effects na nangyayari. May problema tayo sa ganito. Nagpatayo sila ng factory. Yung factory na yun, nag-cause ng ganito, ng pollution. O, kung ngayon tayo ng climate change because of the greenhouse and so on and so forth. So yun yung titignan din ninyo mamaya sa design ninyo. Yung after effects. Lalo kapag na-implement na siya. Profiles and so summary na tayo dito. So that's it. That's it for your chapter 3. Okay? If you have any, kung may natutunan kayo, I would recommend you like and subscribe para automatic na yung kuha natin dito. Yung alert nung pag-send ng video. Especially sa mga chapters natin, sa mga succeeding kuha natin. Topics pa natin. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for listening.